Adam Silver having a tough moment there.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
You know, I've
Philadelphia 70 selectors. Select.
I've been there. No, to sustain you.
All right, welcome back. Midday Show. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, 215-592-9494.
The Philadelphia 70 selectors.
I love the 70 selectors.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
People loved it, too.
I mean, last night they were the 70 selectors.
They were. And they did select a guard out of Alabama. All right, Labaron Philon Jr. All right, here's my first take on this, and we're going to get back to all your phone calls on the Phillies, but your reaction to the Sixers draft pick last night at number 22 getting a guard out of Alabama. Few first thoughts I had. Number one, direct shot at Hugh Douglas. Yesterday, had a big man, big board, had all the big men the Sixers should take, and they take a guard. So that was my first thought. We'd have fun with that.
Yes.
My second thought is I like this kid. I think he's a player, and I like that he played at Alabama, which actually plays more of NBA-style basketball than college-style basketball. I mean, Nate Oates basically coaches a college scheme that is an NBA scheme. So he played in a game that I think will help translate him to the NBA. So I like that. Two, he had a lot of big games in college basketball last year. I mean, he played against Michigan last game in the NCAA tournament. He put up 35. I mean, his team was outmatched, and he's out there scoring against all these kids that won the national championship. So I think they got a player yesterday. Hugh, when I watched him, and I watched more of him last night, just stylistically, a couple guys that he looks like to me, because he's pretty thin. He's only 175 pounds.
Yeah, he need to put on a little weight.
Dejounte Murray, who is with the Hawks.
He was pretty good with the Hawks.
And before that, the Spurs. I see a little bit of that, similar size. When I watch now, listen, I'm just saying this is just aesthetically. I'm not saying he's going to be this guy, but when I watch him and he stops on a dime and pulls up and shoots and gets a shot over people, I see some of Shea. I see some SGA in his game. I mean, he's got that ability to just rise up and shoot and get angles in his shot. So I think there's some pretty high-end NBA players that he reminds me of. We'll see what he becomes. I mean, that's the highest end you could get, a multiple-time MVP. But I like him, and I think the Sixers, the way I saw it last night was they got the best player on their board. They didn't worry about fit. They didn't worry about their roster right now. They got another guard, even though their strength of their team right now, Hugh, is obviously guards.
Yeah, and I was looking, and I think the guy that they wanted, Jaden Quaidens, he was gone. He was gone at 20. I forgot who he ended up going to, but he was gone at 20.
Spurs, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. He was gone, so I think that was the guy that they wanted. But my biggest thought was, and we got three guards. And, he patterns his game. He said he liked to pattern his game after Tyrese Maxey's game. And you look at the minutes that Tyrese played last year, and you look at his ability to shoot everything. Bench depth, I'm thinking maybe.
For now.
Yeah, because I can't see three guards on the court at the same time. I know, didn't they try to do that last year with
we had a guard last year.
Well, that's what Kyle, you beat
happened?
Me to it. We had one. Because I was like, wait a minute, didn't we just get rid of a guard and got another guard? But this is a new regime, and maybe the old regime, the new regime thought that we shouldn't have got rid of the guard that we had. So
Cleaning
maybe
up
that's
Daryl's mess.
Yeah, so maybe that was the case. So that
you seem a little skeptical.
Well, no, I look at it like this. I'm trying to look at the bigger picture. You're not going to be able to get everything that you need, especially when you talk about Joel Embiid still being here and B-Ball Paul.
Yep.
Podcast P. So I think hopefully he works out, he can play. He's a depth piece. And you got to figure out a way to keep these guys together. That's the biggest thing you kind of concerned about is, are they going to try to keep them together?
Yeah, and look, they're...
Because this is a rebuild. This is a rebuild. And, if you really want to get better, I thought they were going to get a big man. That would have probably been the biggest piece that you need when you talk about everything that is going on. But you took the best player available at that time. So, yeah. It's going to be a slow grind.
Yeah, look, I understand your point. I understand, and Morning Show was talking about this a little bit this morning too. Trade McCain to only replace him with a guard, right? And if you think about it, yes, that's what the Sixers did. But Mike Gansey, to use him, right? Because Mike Gansey's running this thing now along with Bob Myers. Mike Gansey can't make a pick because Daryl Morey made a bad trade. You know what I mean? He's got to just pick the best player he thinks that will have the best NBA career, and they think it's this kid out of Alabama. So I'm not too worried about the fit. Guys, the Sixers aren't winning the title next year. I mean, that's so, to me, fit is about contenders. Contenders have to have fit on their roster. The Sixers are trying to figure out who the heck they're moving forward with over the next 3 to 5 years. So I like this kid. He certainly sounds like he has the right attitude. Could we hear from Labaron Philon last night after the draft?
What was it like to finally hear your name called?
I mean, it felt good. Me and my family just
sitting there, waiting on my name to call. It's all about patience, really. Not about the pick, really about the fit. I feel like Philly is a great place for me. Those guys got Maxey and, VJ at the guard spot. But just adding me, I feel like, you just added another dog, really.
I can see the emotion in your eyes. Why the tears?
I mean, it's just my mom, really. Just like, sacrificing everything for me, my brothers, my grandma, my grandparents, my TTs, everybody, really. Shout out to my TT back home, really. She was battling cancer. She, got over it, and it was special for me, just to be here with all my family members.
Look, they're their own people, but it reminds me a little bit of Edgecombe last year. Like, you hear him for 5 minutes, you're like, all right, this kid seems like he's got his head on straight. Seems like he's going to be a hard worker and the kind of kid that
Shout
reaches
out to the TTs,
his
man.
talent. I'm in favor of this pick. I like what they did last night.
I hope he's here though. That's the thing that I kind of worry about, because we've seen this movie. We had this Jared McCain last year. We've seen this, so I just hope I hope this is a long-term plan.
Well, a couple of things come to my head. One, I guess we got to figure out if he could play first, right? Like,
that part.
I mean, the 22nd pick in the draft typically is, that's not a high percentage that he becomes a great player, right? Now, Maxey was picked around this spot, and look what he became.
But the 21st, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. But if you go back to the 22nd pick, or just like anything after the lottery in the NBA draft, I mean, what kind of percentage chances he becomes a great player? I don't know, 5%, 10%? That doesn't usually happen. So maybe he is just a role player. Maybe he is just a bench piece. Maybe whoever they were going to get there was just going to be a bench piece. But if he does turn out to be a great player, they will have decisions to make, right? I mean, I think that's kind of where your head is at. Like, if he reaches his ceiling, does the three of them work together long term?
Yeah, and
probably not. For being real.
And just like we was talking about McCain last year, the reason he didn't get on the floor because they didn't have room for him. And you talk about Coach Nurse was talking about how they didn't have a spot for him. It's kind of like, when I think about it, it feels similar. It feels a little similar.
It does. Now I wonder will Nick Nurse be forced to play him? Because if Gansey and Myers want this guy, you think they're going to let Nick Nurse just let him sit on the bench all year?
No,
I don't think they should.
I don't think they are. But it feels like this is we traded away a guard and we got another one, and it's kind of putting us in the same situation.
So okay, well, you're right. I mean, it does. Let me ask you this though: could they play Maxey and Edgecombe, specifically Maxey, a little less? Maxey played a lot of minutes, and I thought by the end of the season he was just out of gas.
That's what they said. They were talking about it. Shout out to Mark Jackson. They were talking about it this morning. Like, Maxey played the most minutes in the NBA last year.
Is that necessary?
And you're talking about this young man come in, and if you could shave 3 minutes a game off of that and put him out there, that's better. So there's probably going to be some opportunities there for him.
You know what this is making me think?
What's that?
They should have just fired Nurse. I'm serious. No, hold on. They got rid of Daryl Morey, kept Nurse, and looked for a general manager or president. With the head coach still on the roster. Like, usually you clean house. You let the president or GM pick his guy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But, I mean, think about the timeline here. Nurse can't find a role for Jared McCain. Daryl Morey trades Jared McCain. They fire Daryl Morey. They get another guy who's like a guard, Jared McCain. And they're going to force him on Nick Nurse. Doesn't make any sense.
And hope he plays him.
Yeah, they should have gotten his ass out of here.
Yeah, well, I get what you're saying. I mean, look, and the reality is he might be out of here in a year. I mean, Gansey and Myers might want their own coach in a year. I mean, that could happen. The other thing I thought of, Hugh, and then we'll hear from Gansey, and this is the chances of this happening are probably 5%. But let's say this kid, let's say the kid we drafted last night becomes as great as people think when they see him, like his ceiling. He reaches it. It made me wonder about Maxey's future in Philadelphia.
And move on from Maxey.
Well, Edgecombe and Philon. Philon said it last night. They're in the same high school class. Philon stayed one more year of college, but like him and Edgecombe are the exact same age. Like 3 years from now, those two will be at 24 years old each. Like,
so Maxey might be the guy moving.
Yeah, right.
I mean, those two got the continuity going for them a little bit. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I look, the Sixers can build this thing however they want, and if Maxey's great, people are going to want to keep him. I'm just saying, like, if I'm Maxey and they just drafted a point guard, to me, Edgecombe is a 2 guard. They drafted a point guard last night, so we'll see how it plays out. Let's hear from Gansey after the draft last night.
Is it kind of, I don't want to say is it lost on you, but is kind of the way to win a championship in the NBA is being able to have multiple ball handlers and multiple guys who can be able to break the paint, kind of against a defense that knows what you're running.
Yep, no, for sure. I mean, you need as many guards as you can that can go create a shot. He's obviously one of the best in college. And, I think for us, too, like, Tyrese was number 1 in minutes last year. VJ was up there as a rookie, I think 5th. Like, this also helps coach. Like, he doesn't have to play those guys. We need depth at that guard position. I think he can come in and, play some minutes and take a load off those two. And I think he can play with Tyrese a little bit. He's on the slighter side. He's got to get stronger. But if you look at his stuff, especially his freshman year at Alabama, he really guarded. And I think this year he had to carry a huge offensive load. So I think he took a little bit of a step back there. But I know it's in him. He's got good instincts, good hands. He's tough. He'll get into people. He's competitive. So, and like you said, you just can't have enough guards. Being in Cleveland, we needed guards, because in the playoffs it's half court. You got to go get a bucket. And, I think Labaron can go get one anytime he wants.
Here, the other thing I thought of when Gansey was speaking last night, because he spoke like that, and he was talking about a lot of the games he watched of Labaron. We're just getting to know Mike Gansey, right? He just got here. He clearly loves watching college basketball and scouting these kids. He had a lot of detail on like the scouting work he did on this player, and he just got here, right? It's like I can't imagine he crammed yesterday. I mean, he's
been betting him for a while.
Right. Like it seems to me like we have a GM now that loves to kind of scout and look at players. So we'll see how it works out. But I like the pick.